noticed was time moved so slow. It was the pace of life was well, I came from the Bay Area, so
Mm-hmm.
pace of life in Albuquerque is slow compared to the Bay Area. But kind of just kind of appreciated and enjoyed life a little more.
Okay. Shoot.
So I've been here 3 years now. I think I'll stay.
Huh.
Okay, we are live on YouTube. Whew. Okay, everybody wave. Say
You
good
can do
morning to
it.
YouTube.
You can do it.
Morning.
Ah, all right. A lot going on here. And I am going to share my screen and we'll see if my computer explodes.
Well, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, is that meta? Hey.
What does YouTube want me to do today?
Huh. Can you see my PowerPoint slides now?
No, not yet.
No.
No.
And I'm trying to pull mine up, but I'm struggling to find that deck. So.
Okay, let's try this.
Oh, that looks very familiar.
Whew.
Good morning, folks. Oh boy, it looks like we're actually at 9 a.m.
All right. Welcome everyone. I am just I'm doing Lisa's job this morning, and there's Eric and I are the only organizers, so we're doing everything. And but welcome this morning to 1 Million Cups. And for those of you who've never been to 1 Million Cups, just to let you know what we do. Basically, our mission is to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all new and aspiring entrepreneurs. And we do this through creating a consistent program and highlighting the uniqueness and value of our community. And when we talk about our community, we are the only 1 Million Cups in New Mexico. You can see our regional map here. And 1 Million Cups is a national program, so it happens all over the US, 9 a.m. on Wednesdays. Now, the thing about 1 Million Cups is we don't do pitches, we do presentations, right? An entrepreneur shares about their journey as well as their challenges so that you, the audience, can ask them great questions as well as maybe help them think about their business in a new way. We also want to create authentic connections. So why this is called 1 Million Cups is you can connect more with someone over a cup of coffee than you can just handing them your business card. So later we will have rooms where people can either connect more time, connect with the presenter, or we won't have a COVID room today because Paul's on the road. But if anyone has ideas for other breakout rooms, we could just have a meetup room where people get a chance to talk, and that's where you get a chance to connect. And it's run for the community, by the community. And we want to be, and we continually strive to be radically and intentionally inclusive, meaning we want all types of individuals and we want all types of companies to present. And we want you to apply to present. If you have a business that is for profit and you're making money and it's not just your mother buying your product, we want you to apply and present because we want to hear about your business and we want to help you with whatever challenges you're facing. And these are our organizing team members. We have Paul Zotter, Lisa Adkins, who's up in Taos at the new Fat Pipe this morning. We got Eric Rins Whitmore, who's here today. Hello, Eric. Bobsy Sanandale, myself, Sonia Doing, and Charles Garrison. So they do exist. They're just not all here today. And then our wonderful sponsors. So someday someday we'll get back to in person, but we'll also be doing hybrid online, and you'll see more of our sponsors. So Fat Pipe ABQ is a great space to work, and that's actually where I'm at today, is online using their awesome internet so that I can post to YouTube and do this at the same time. And so that's Fat Pipe. If you ever want to rent a space, check them out. Lowe's and Lowe's Intellectual Property. If you're looking to trademark something, check them out. They usually buy our coffee. More Than Organized with Miriam
Ortiz y Pino.
Ortiz y Pino. Okay, I'm going to write that down for myself for next time, because I don't know why I'm stumbling on that name now. But she brings our creamer, and she's an awesome organizer, so check her out. We also have Jason Collin Photography, who is our official photographer. And there he is. Hey, Jason. And then we have Noventum Custom Software, and Brian usually brings the donuts. I miss the donuts. Well, maybe my figure doesn't miss the donuts, but but we miss Brian. And I think up next is Eric.
Oh my heavens. It seems like this happens every Wednesday morning, and I'm really happy about it. I think, let's just say we've got something of a smallish group is here this morning. So how we're going to run this today. So we've got our usual presenter. We will have some breakout rooms, probably just 2. We don't have a COVID room update, but we'll probably have just the one for our presenter, and then more of a catch-all kind of connections kind of space. So yeah, let me move on with introducing our presenter here this morning. So we know that, I mean, I don't know how you all feel, but these days it seems like there's just so much information out there. We're awash in information all the time. You know, depending on how many different social medias, or how whether you've tamed your email list or not, whether you've used Miriam services, there's just a ton of information out there, and it's become really, really difficult to sift through all that. So I'm always looking for tools. I'm looking for ways to get that information, get the information I really need to sift that and sort that, so that I'm not wasting a bunch of time. Although God knows I like to waste a bunch of time sometimes. So I'm really happy that we've got Debbie joining us here today with Teckedin. Debbie's got a background in tech and IT, but she's got a platform that's good for business, but also for other consumers, professional consumers of information around the tech scene alike. So let's see, I'll ask Debbie if you go ahead and share your slides and kick it off.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. All righty, can you see that first slide there? Where it says
Yes.
Teckedin Journey and Timeline? All
Yes.
right, perfect. Well, thank you both. Thank you, Eric and Sonia, and thank you everyone that's here today. So I'm Debbie Krusick. I've been selling hardware and software solutions, gosh, since the 80s, and have had my own company for 28 years. And as I was trying to grow my company, I was doing what everybody told me to do, you know, have a landing page, get people to your website, get their email addresses, and start sending them something every 3 days, and life will be good. But if you don't have a lot of people coming to your websites, a lot of those expensive tools and processes are a waste of time and money. And people don't want to give up their personal information anymore. So I started looking to build a platform where a company like mine could be on a more even playing field. It wouldn't matter if I didn't have a lot of people coming to my site. They could find me in this other site if they looked for records and data management or document management, things like that. So that's where it started from. And so I ended up going with a 2-sided platform, 2 sides being the vendors and their partners that sell and support companies, and then the technology end users like IT managers, chief information officers, that type of thing. And I crowdsourced all the development through a company called topcoder.com. And pretty much they did all my design, logos, the whole development of the platform I wanted to build. And we launched in January of 2018. The goal was to get the vendors to sign up and add content and pay a flat monthly fee. And then end users would have to sign in by an email, but they were free and none of their information was given. So that was kind of how it was set up. It was a membership platform. And we just couldn't get traction. The end users loved the idea. They were thrilled to see something like this, but I think they also were reluctant to have to sign up, again and have a login. And the vendors, they wanted personal information. And they also wanted to know how many views and likes we have. And it felt like people were expecting us to have 1 million people to our site when we just got started, so it just really kind of struggled along. And so in August of last year, I started looking around, and with the way technologies moved along, with SaaS products and all, I ended up finding Document 360, which is a knowledge-based platform. And so I signed up with them and started building the whole site from scratch. We threw everything we had done over the last 2 years away. And so I went live in September of 2020. And I also started looking at marketplace applications because there's a lot of talk about, especially in the IT services area, a lot of things going to marketplaces. So I tried a couple of marketplace apps and settled on sharetribe.com. And so we launched our Teckedin marketplace in March of this year. So I'm going to give you a quick peek here. Can you see that screen all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. This is my website. So you'll see we have tech news, webinars, podcasts, analysis reports, and everything in our site is categorized by tech content or tech category. So you'll see cloud computing, data analytics, apps, DevApps, and all of our lists are sortable, as well as you can come up here and search for content. And it could be, a video, PDFs, whatever it might be. And then you can even filter more here to the left. So there's a lot of usability in searching. And as you can see, we don't have any ads or anybody, any distractions. You'll never be asked for personal information to view anything on our site. And so that's kind of how our site works. And then one thing, some interesting things that this Document 360 offers us we see as revenue streams is, for example, here's my records and data management. And I have a page that has the Teckedin embedded in it. So here I am in records and data management, and I can go see the news or anything there. So we've had talks with even some vendors that would say, hey, if we can, embed some of your content into our site, that's like you're providing content that's useful. And so we see that as a future roadmap, as well as this company right now, Document 360. Your site is either public or private, but they're going to make it hybrid. So down the road, we could have a private section that we would have people have to log into and show content, and that could be for a fee and things like that. So that's some of the roadmaps that we see here. Now, in regards to, some of the testimonials we've received, these are all very recent. And so I thought I would just read a couple to you as I close. I love the Teckedin site. It provides everything tech related I would be interested in: news and conference, webinar listings. I especially love the breakouts by category, so we are easily able to select the items relevant to a particular industry. And then this one's my favorite. Love your website, fabulous resource. Thank you for making this all available for free. Amazing effort. So thank you for listening today. I look forward to questions and feedback.
Thank you very much, Debbie. So let's see. So we'll do questions from the group. I don't have my chat window up. So if you've got questions, what we'll do is we'll ask you to go ahead and put those in the chat. Let's see. I'm just curious, and I'll kick a couple different things off. We'll make it casual. So I'm wondering, given COVID and folks being at home and all that, I'm wondering if that's changed the nature of when you're talking with potential clients about their sort of information needs. Has that changed the way that they're consuming information? I'm just curious about the effects of this time has had on your potential audience.
A couple of things I've seen is we have a whole list of webinar and events, but I've seen, a lot of people are just having really low, it's interesting, but they're having low attendance. Everybody's kind of getting just exhausted, right? So we've gotten feedback like that, the webinars that we put out there and vendors saying, gosh, we just can't get people to our webinars. So that's one thing I've seen. We've added like an on-demand webinar area that we're going to start building up, because we've seen where people say, I want to go when I want to go. I don't want to have to be there at 11 o'clock, but if there's something that I can go to when my time permits. So we see some area there of people wanting to have resources for when they have the time to look at stuff. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's a couple of feedback that we've seen in regards to people's time and learning and things.
Makes sense. I see Sonia had a question.
Yes, I'm curious, Debbie, I know, well, one of the platforms for marketing is collecting people's email addresses so that you can send them an email newsletter. So I'm curious, what do you consider your largest platform for advertising to your audience?
We pretty much, from a social media standpoint, using LinkedIn and Twitter. So every morning what we do is we put screenshots out of our tech news and all. And so it's a screenshot. So they have to click on the link if they want to see all the live links. And so we've been doing that and get a lot of good feedback there. So that's daily, Twitter and LinkedIn.
Cool,
and then,
thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I would say we've also done, some Google ads and a YouTube video ad. So we've tried a couple of those, but thank you.
All right. I see Alan had a question as well.
I'm curious as to the nature of your income stream, because you said that your initial iteration, you charged the vendors or suppliers of the data, and you also said that your earlier iteration, you did not have a lot of people landing on your site. So it's two questions. What is your income stream, and since you've changed your sites, has your usage increased?
Thank you, Alan. Yes, a couple things. So we definitely have certain things like the tech news and the webinars. We have a page sponsor. So they have a link there. And so we have some different ways for revenue. Is like page sponsors, if they wanted to be a content sponsor of a category. And then those are the two main ones. And then also looking at where we can embed part of our content into other people's site and charge for that. So those are some of the things we're looking at from a revenue standpoint. And in regards to the visibility and the viewing, yes, it's definitely increased because I think, first of all, you don't have to log in. I know that was a deterrent. People just didn't want to have to hit the login button and put in another login and password just to read the news. And so I think that's really helped. And then we've really built up the LinkedIn and Twitter activity that we put out there. So, and so there's other things that we look to charge for, but right now it's more like this type of, nothing too obtrusive, no banner ads or anything like that.
So I have a follow-up question. If I were to be a paid sponsor, what do I get for that?
For example, here's with Armor. They have a link back to their site, but then also when we do our LinkedIn and our Twitters, we call them out there as well. So and then what they've done is, which is nice, which is kind of, the way that it should kind of work, is they then retweet our stuff or reset out our LinkedIn and say, hey, catch the news on Teckedin. So they reciprocate by then feeding through their own connections. And so that's kind of a reciprocal, and that's how we do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Stuck someplace else. Trying to get rid of my background here, which is sometimes tough. So I saw some of your testimonials. What's are there, and I don't know, chasing customers and based on feedback isn't always a good idea. Are there things that you're hearing from the folks that are using the platform, whether they're businesses or folks who are sort of the more consumers of information, are there features and things that those folks are looking for that they've talked about?
Yes, there's one that we definitely are going to grow. For example, I have a privacy tech solutions listing here. And so with different products and all. And I had a woman that said she'd like to see a tool list like this per category or per solution, so that she could come in here and say, you know, show me all the endpoint security tools, or show me email things. And so she asked for that. And so that's what we look to be building over here in the next month, are these lists. And then I just have to think about, you know, do I want to charge the vendor to be on this list? You know, so I was, you know, not sure how that would be receptive, but I think it would be, you know, potential revenue there to say, hey, we're going to be building these really short list of tools by category. And if you want to be on our list, you know, it'll be X number of dollars, but those are things I don't know, haven't done yet. But this definitely was a recent comment. She just said, you know, you got all this great stuff, have a list for tools too, besides the news and the webinars and the podcast, you know, how about a whole tool list?
All right. Yeah, Sonia's got another question over there.
Yep, one more. I'm not sure I heard, you know, what your biggest challenge is right now.
Oh, thank you. I would say it's getting people to try it. You know, I think everybody's reluctant, like Eric talked in the, you know, at the beginning with information and all. So just getting somebody to go to a new website is, I think, difficult for everyone, no matter what business you're in. And so getting the word out, people to try it, you know, if you have friends or family that are chief information officers or things like that, you know, just getting people to give it a try. Because I think once they come in here, they really like it. But that's probably one struggle there. And then also just figuring out how to price for the future, you know, what would be the right thing that somebody would be willing to pay to have, you know, their product on our list. And again, it's all driven by everybody wants to, you know, see that you have millions of people coming to the site, you know, and it's kind of a two-edged sword there, right? With what people want.
So you mentioned a CIO. Is that your ideal client, is a CIO who's looking to add information to their website?
It would be more like, so if the chief information officer works with a lot of vendors and all, and maybe they realize they need to get a document management product or something, they could come into our site and be able to see a lot of content on document management, see a list of possible vendors, but, you know, be able to do this all without anybody bugging them. Because what normally happens is you go to a vendor and you want to read something and they want your email address. You know, so you're just constantly being pushed at instead of being able to just kind of read on your own and reach out when you're ready. So that's on that side of the end user would be, you know, who we'd be looking for. And then even we've reached out to people that write blogs that are more like maybe private consultants or experts. And we've said, hey, you know, I liked your recent blog. Can I put it on my site? And people are happy to share that. For sure. I mean, they're getting exposure to their own writing. And so that's how we've been doing it. We see something. I've contacted vendors and I say, I really like, you know, your white paper. May I put it on my site? And he's like, no, I need email addresses. So it's like, okay, fine. You'll never be on our site then, you know, but.
Gotcha. Thank you.
See, I've got a comment question, and then I've got something from Alan, and then something from Janice. I hope I'm saying that right. Comment is, and maybe suggestion is, I think maybe promoting the fact that you aren't capturing that information. That's one of the things that say DuckDuckGo and others that are not, you know, grabbing all that information from consumers. That's become attractive for a lot of folks, and it's, you know, big movement in Europe. But I haven't seen a lot of marketing efforts or a lot of things that mention that that's one thing you're not doing. And kind of really playing that value up. That's one comment.
Okay, thank you.
The question I had is, how are you sourcing the content you've got now? Are you doing like scraping or news feeds, or is it all like curated? What's the balance of how you get that information in? And then we'll go to Alan.
Sure. It's all hand curated by me. And so pretty much what we're doing is going to about 10 to 15 news tech websites a day and getting their latest news. I've signed up for a lot of my own newsletters and info. So all these emails I get that talk about a webinar or a new product, reach out that way. And then just kind of in the channel market area, which is software and hardware that's sold through a channel. So you got your vendors and their partners. I belong to a lot of groups there too. So I try to pay attention to both sides of my two-sided platform, if you will. And so that's how we've been doing it. And then again, if I see something posted on LinkedIn go through or Twitter that's interesting, I reach right out to them and ask if they're willing to be on our site. So it's very hands-on and personal.
Whoops, I'm still muted. I was just saying thanks. Let's go to Alan, please.
Yeah, you made mention of a pitch that we're going to be doing this or that. Obviously I can only speak for myself, but if you were to pitch me with what you were going to be doing, I would say, well, call me when you're doing it. I think it's a much stronger pitch to say, we are building this. It's a positive statement of current action rather than some future we're thinking of possibly maybe doing this is what it comes across. So just from a marketing standpoint, having a more forceful statement of current action may resonate better. And you also mentioned that you were in a bit of a quandary with pricing because everybody wants 1 million, views. Just thinking out loud about setting a price as if you had that 1 million views and then offering early adopter discounts. So our price is X, but we're not there yet. It's kind of a chicken and egg. And so for early adopters, we're offering this discount. And I don't know, I'm retired, so I'm not in the tech industry. I don't know if that resonates. But, I think discounts resonate with people, but they have to be connected to something and not just a discount. So, it's kind of like a hotel rack rate. Hardly anybody ever pays the rack rate, but that's their price. And then they offer discounts off the rack rate. So people think, well, that's pretty cool. It's a $500 room and I'm getting it for $125. So I feel pretty good about that. But this is connected to something because it addresses a concern that, rather than say, well, call me when you get the numbers, because if everybody says that, you'll never get the numbers. So anyway, that's my thought for the day.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Very good ideas there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just putting in the chat, so we're looking for any last questions, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Janice, did you want to ask your question?
Sure. It's Shanice. The question was just, what, if any, questions do you wish you had asked earlier in your career, whether it's to something you wish you'd been asking prospects or potential investors, or even just yourself? What questions do you realize now that you should have been asking all along?
Thank you, Janice. I think that the main thing that I struggled with was that I'm not a developer, right? So trying to develop something from scratch without those skills definitely was, a learning curve. And now it's so nice with the way that the software and technology has moved forward, that you can, get a piece of software that's already ready to use, and that's, I mean, to me, it has made things so much better for someone like myself. And I think the other thing was also that, as a reseller partner myself, I thought a lot of people would have the same feelings I had, and be willing to pay $100 a month or whatever it was to, to have content and move forward. But it's, there was a lot of reluctance there, and that I really didn't expect that. So that's probably the two main things that come to mind.
All right, and then it looks like, oh, Greg, did you want to make that comment?
I was going to copy this out of the chat. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, subscription tiers. Yeah. The basic tier, and almost. Yeah. I like seeing that. That's useful.
Thank you.
We've got two standard questions we always ask. So one of them is red or green?
Green.
Green. Yay. I basically say yay regardless what folks say, unless they say I hate green chili or I hate chili.
And then you're
Something
like,
like
are you from New Mexico?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable except for that person.
Yeah.
And the last question we always ask is, what is there a thing, and I'm not sure if there's something you can throw in the chat, but what can we as a community do to help you today or this week?
I think, if you do have somebody that or people that you work with that you feel this might be applicable to them and interesting to them, if you could just share it out and say, hey, if you're looking for technology content, business technology content, check this site out. That would sure be helpful. Or if somebody that, sells software or hardware solutions and maybe looking for a new way to increase visibility, also send them over. That would be very nice. And thank you.
Nice. Well, cool. So let's see. Thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us here this morning. Maybe, I think in the chat would be useful, but if you like the LinkedIn location or other links or stuff, if you could put those in chat, Debbie, that would be great. And we are going to go, a couple different things that are next are, first of all, I'm going to ask folks for any good news or successes, but before we get to that, I will share some events and activities. Let's see, and I've actually got a pretty short list here today, so I'll probably go through all of them, but just a sec. All right. So for that, on Thursdays, we've got our friends at Taza. They meet every Thursday from 9 to 10 a.m. It's basically a bilingual version of 1 Million Cups, and that's available through Facebook. This weekend, I'm part of the team that's putting together a national startup weekend that's focused on sustainability. We've got a good handful of folks from New Mexico that are part of that, but basically, whether it's climate tech, climate justice, circular economy, or any of the many, many things that go into the various sustainability challenges that face our Earth, we're looking for folks who've got an idea for not necessarily even a for-profit business, but some kind of an organization that's going to help address some of those challenges. And that's running the 23rd to the 25th. In addition to that, sometimes I'll look at sort of national events and see what's going on. There's a nice event from a group called Startup Space, and they help both co-working spaces and entrepreneurial hubs nationally. And they've got an event that's coming up next week, next Thursday. It's talking about creating and fostering that culture of entrepreneurship and innovation. And that's something that we do as part of 1 Million Cups. Last thing that I'll mention is, well, a couple more things. I'm no longer a developer. I was never really a developer. I did HTML, I did a little bit of, Flash and some other stuff, but that was not really something that I very much knew how to do. But one of the things that we've seen over the past couple of years is that it's becoming a lot more accessible for folks to create products or create services online with no code tools. So one of the things we're doing at the next Code for Albuquerque meetup on May 3rd is we're going to do sort of a demo and walkthrough of how to use some of the no-code tools that are out there. With Code for Albuquerque, we're looking at things that do community good, but there's also a fair number of different businesses that have launched using these tools that require a minimum of coding. Last couple things, if you're on LinkedIn, we encourage you to join us there. I've been using LinkedIn a lot more over the past couple of months, and I think it's actually made a big difference in terms of connecting me with people that I need to talk to. So if you're interested in kind of following us with 1 Million Cups, checking out what Debbie's doing, and also doing a little bit more with our wider community, I encourage you to join us there. And last thing I'll say is there's always a lot of different great events that are happening with the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. And that link is also in the chat. And let's see, I see that other people have mentioned some stuff. Oh, good. We got Debbie's put a thing in there. Do we have any people who've got some good news that we want to share?
I've got one.
Yes.
I don't think I've shared this before. My story, the Glass Mountain, which is a short story adventure thriller mountain climbing adventure, won 2nd place in the New Mexico Press Women's Competition. So that was really exciting. And in case anyone wants to check it out, I just shared the link.
That's very cool. Any other, and I reframed it to say not just sort of like business success, but what's some good news that we've got that we might want to share with other people, if there's any.
I always have mountain biking goals achieved. So of the big rock challenges in the Sandia Mountains, I got my bike over the last one 2 weeks ago. So if that counts as it's called Shark's Tooth as well. So you can hike by it too. It's by the water tanks, right by the tram, right underneath the tram, kind of in the northern Sandias more. So there's that.
Well, it's got a cool name. I think it counts as success. Yeah. Shark's Tooth. It's out. I'm the drama is just, there. I'll mention that both Debbie and I are part of the current round. There's sort of a pre-accelerator that the good folks at Santa Fe Innovates are doing. So she's working mostly on Teckedin, I believe. I'm working on a version, some of the work that I typically do with cities and communities around growing their entrepreneurial ecosystems. So that's been fun so far. We had a first meeting last I don't even remember, last weekend. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with that group. Other community stuff, a lot of different meetups and a lot of different groups have been pretty sleepy, but there was a neat meeting just last night, and that was from the AIGA New Mexico chapter. It's basically a graphics association that's national, but they basically didn't do any events last year with COVID. I think they may have done maybe one small one, but they're ramping up to do 3 or 4 this coming year, or the rest of the year. So that's pretty exciting news over there as well.
Okay, now it's all up to me, right? Okay, so here's the thing. I've never done breakout rooms before. Lisa gave me a quick tutorial last week. So first of all, in the chat, if you can let me know what we have 2 rooms. You can either hang out with the presenter, Debbie, and talk to her some more, or I made a room called Connect, where you'll just connect with other peeps. So please message me what room you would like.
And if you've got the most recent if you've got the most recent version of Zoom, you can actually just join those. Just click if you click down on the more, you can go ahead and join those. That makes it a little bit easier. And also thrown in the chat is good. Hang out with peeps. I like that. The peeps room. Let's see.
Okay,
hang out. So, and the other thing that we get to do now is, with the lean team, it's a little bit more, I don't know, funkier, crunchier than typical, is we say goodbye to our YouTube audience.
Oh,
because we're not gonna record a bunch of like dead air and stuff. So we want to thank folks. No. It's
right.
It is
First
what it is.
this,
So I just want to thank folks for joining us on YouTube. And